Welcome back, everyone, and Jat, this is it. It all comes down to this Game 3, TSM taking Game 1 and Curse coming back for Game 2. Both of these teams are one win away from the finals. I can't even believe how good this series has been.
It's really just been a back and forth. Curse really getting their money champions. Nyjacky's so comfortable on Morgana in all of these games, beating up on Reginald in the mid lane a little bit. The Rise hasn't gotten going so well. Morgana keeping him in track. Nyjacky roaming around, helping the other lanes. It's just, I can't see TSM allowing that Morgana to come in once again. That first game was down to the hair. That last game, Curse actually had a bit of an edge the whole time. If it wasn't for some super close fights, this could very well have been a 2-0 for Curse. So the heavy favorites coming in, TSM, do have to adapt and adjust if they want to not get knocked down to the third place game.
And it really seemed like the ongoing theme for the Game 1 and Game 2 was the Nunu. It really seemed like Nunu was the X factor. Nyjacky was landing his bindings. X Special actually had two great hooks onto St. Vicious, but at the end of the day, Nunu for Chaos in Game 1 and then for Cop in Game 2 spelled the difference because those two AD carries were unbelievable.
At the end of the day, if Blitzcrank doesn't land hooks on priority targets, he's not the best pick. Pulling in St. Vicious is pulling in a tank, and he's pulling in someone who actually wants to be there. So pulling St. Vicious in for that final fight just allowed him to land a better ultimate on the rest of their team. That Blitzcrank pick didn't really work out for TSM. X Special never created any win fights for them with it. And the Nunu, higher priority in a lot of situations here. Both teams will be gunning for it. I wouldn't even be surprised if we didn't see a ban.
And we talked about that would be a little bit surprising, not so much because of the strength of the jungle Nunu as well, but we talked about the keys to the game for TSM is to let Reggie dominate. Reggie was not dominating in that Game 2. He seemed to be behind the entire time.
And you can see when Reggie doesn't dominate, the team struggles. He is the initiator for that team, and when he's behind on Rise, he can't run in for the Rune Prison, so they end up being at the mercy of St. Vicious and Nyjacky to initiate on them, and then they're there for counter initiation. While TSM is good at that, that's not where they're comfortable, so they need Reginald on something that he can be extremely aggressive on. Karthus has been getting banned out, so that's blocked for him. It's going to be tricky. Maybe they'll try to take the Morgana away from Nyjacky, because that would be something that fits into his playstyle just right. I cannot wait for this Game 3.
I don't even know what they're going to pick at this point. This game has been so spectacular, and Reginald could easily play Morgana just as well as Nyjacky could. Nyjacky and St. Vicious have been the playmakers, but the story of this series, I feel, has been Cop just coming alive.
It's been both of the AD carries coming alive when their team needs them most. The team fights are so close in these games that everyone is sitting around low, and AD carries are the cleanup. They're the ones with the most sustained damage. The casters, the AP carries, they get everyone low, and when the fights are this close, that just means the AD carries pick up everything. So in Game 1, it was Chaos with, I wish I could remember, multiple double-digit kills. Cop, perfect game last game, never dying, picking up all the kills at the end of those fights. It's a back and forth. I'm not expecting either one of these guys to have Nunu, and it's almost impossible to put a higher priority onto killing the AD carries because over-diving these guys that are so good at positioning is just getting them in trouble.
And Cop picked himself up a quadra kill. That was unbelievable discipline from Curse to also make sure that Cop got fed. We talked about that a couple times. When the kill is secured, people often talk about that. Chaos, kill steal. No, that kill is secured, but if you have enough time and you have enough discipline, you can feed that AD carry and let them get that much larger, and Cop got huge.
I was hearing some of these teams talk, and Curse has modeled a lot of their playstyle after how TSM plays. So that's one of the reasons they dive in so hard with their mid and their jungle and their top, just to let the AD carry clean up. When you play that strategy, you have to make sure that he is on point. And in the past, Cop has lagged behind a little bit, but at least in these few last tournaments, and especially that last game, he is rising to the occasion and really just turning it on.
And it looks like we're going to be getting into Champion Select in just a couple of seconds. Jad, if you're TSM, what are you going to do to secure this Game 3?
You have to take Curse off of their money champions in a lot of ways. Can't let him have Morgana, can't let him have Nunu. So for you guys coming into this Game 3, who wants to see Curse take it?
And for all of you TSM fans out there, if you want to see TSM take this game 3, let me hear you.
And we are into Champion Select. The bands are flying out quickly. No Karthus for them. You can actually hear from the crowd. TSM's got the home field advantage, so to speak. These guys are behind them. Not to take away from Curse, they have a lot of supporters as well. What will the first pick be? Because Nunu is on the board. Let's see if TSM decides to take it.
Curse actually banning out Vladimir. Westrice doing some great damage out there, but Curse saying, if we're not going to have it, no one can. And TSM says, okay, we're going to have Nunu.
Interesting ban by Curse there, because they've wanted that Vladimir for Westrice in the top lane every game, and that's worked out so well for them. They've wanted both Nunu and Vladimir, so banning it out gave TSM the obvious choice of taking what they wanted and what Curse wanted instead of leaving a 1-for-1. So what are they going to counter with? Because the Blitzcrank didn't seem to work out that well. They haven't been able to shut down or punish Nunu in the lane. They're just going to go standard Corki Shyvana, no surprises from them.
St. Vicious said, I might play Shyvana, and play her he has. Game 1, Game 2, and now Game 3. Cop, no surprises there. Corki again. We saw Zig in the last tournament played Corki 15 games out of 15, and there is good reason for that. He is a strong AD carry, and Cop showing just how powerful he can be. That last kill for him, a max range missile onto the odd one. So if Cop can replicate some of the magic from Game 2, it's going to be bad news for TSM.
And this would really be TSM's chance to take away Morgana if they choose to.
There it is.
And I'm expecting that lock-in. What is Nijaki going to be forced on here? Normally his fallback is Karthus. It's also Zyra, but against Morgana, a lot of those roots can get black shielded. We could just see them taunting him here. He's sitting on Morgana. They might decide to go with something else. I'd expect them to go with Morgana because that is a very strategic pick.
And Reginald is such a strong Morgana player. X Special sitting on Sona. Sona, another strong support. She's got that area of effect stun, which if landed properly could be devastating. And there is the lock-in. TSM stealing away Nijaki's Morgana. Nijaki also playing a strong Ahri. Ahri able to push out against the Morgana. But with Reginald on Morg, I think we're going to see him be a lot more aggressive in the roaming. And Nijaki sitting on the Zyra. We just said he can play her. Let's see if he's going to bust out.
And what these picks mean for TSM is we get to see the odd one on Nunu. So a bunch of counter jungling snacks are soon to be consumed. We shall see how that plays out. He wants to counter jungle St. Vicious. Odd One wrote the book on how to jungle Nunu, and he is so pumped to be on it here in a deciding match.
And St. Vicious as Shyvana, her style is just to farm, farm, farm. Her jungle, someone else's jungle. She doesn't care. So I think we may see a lot of skirmishes and Elements sitting on his Blitzcrank. He loves Blitzcrank. He loves Sona. TSM has been making sure that Curse has not been getting the champions they want, but St. Vicious loves his Shyvana, and Elements loves his Blitzcrank.
And Nijaki loves his skill shots. They can combo the charm with the hook just as well almost as they could combine the dark binding with the hook. So a lot of the same strengths coming out from this Curse team comp. Slight adjustments because of the Morgana. This Graves would be absolutely no surprise here. These teams stealing away each other's champions a little bit.
Oh, man.
Darius goes for this Jayce. There it is, switching it up, and this is going to be great.
We saw Darius playing Jayce. He had that incredible escape where he got out with a single hit point. Let's see what top lane is going to go up.
One of the most difficult things for Jayce. Jayce is an incredibly difficult matchup early. It's because he has access to 6 skills at level 3. He can form swap from level 1, so he gets double access to those abilities. Very, very, very few things can stand with him. Stuff like Nidalee or stuff like Lee Sin have a chance, but Westrice does not play those champions. I'd expect mostly for him to go to a Darius and try to get into range of Jayce for the up-close brawls. But we shall see. Two very muscular men going to be going up against each other in this top lane. Who's going to come out on top? I do give the edge in that matchup if he locks into Jayce.
Chad, you are a bit of a prophet. If he's going to lock this one in, 3, 2, 1, what are we going to see?
There it is. I hope it's taking
We're going to see the Darius.
Right.
We're going to see Darius versus Jayce. Top lane. We saw Westrice on Darius versus the Shen. He shut him down every time Stand United went in. Westrice can play Darius extremely well, and with that dunk in those fights, he's a heck of a cleanup guy.
That's how Westrice likes to play him. Even if he doesn't have success in the lane, he loves having Darius because he can always jump in at the end of team fights and clean up with those ultimates. So let's hear it now. For those of you supporting Curse, can they take this game 3 and knock out the heavy favorites TSM?
And for those of you supporting TSM, the heavyweights in this bout, if you want to see them earn their place into the final, let me hear you. There is the TSM chant, and we are into this game. Champions loading up very quickly. Jat, taking a quick look at this team composition, it seems like TSM has a ton of speed manipulation.
The Jayce gate is going to be so strong for them on top of the Blood Boil, and it's going to be difficult for Curse to hold off those initiations. They don't have the Morgana front line, and here we go into the game.
Going down right away from Curse Gaming. TSM pinging into the Curse jungle. They have Morgana, and they do have Graves as well as Nunu, so a lot of crowd control at this level 1. If the odd one decides to grab that snowball, we could see a level 1 fight. TSM avoiding the level 1 fight up until this point, but Darius could get out of trouble with his speed moves. He's going to do that. Nijaki throwing a charm into the brush. Darius still potentially in danger, but he has that gate, so he's going to run out of there in a hurry. But the rest of TSM a little bit split up.
Blitzcrank hook, Darius hook, and Ahri charm do give superior threat to what TSM has at level 1. So you can see TSM setting up defensively. 3 people actually staying in mid lane. They do not want to mess with Curse right now. So it's really about Curse picking where they want to go. It's on TSM to not get caught. They've put down that 1 ward in the lower river, but really Curse gets to pick their fight right here and decide what they want to steal, if anything. TSM may have held them off. They may have scared them well enough. By sticking together, we could see a standard start.
And Curse is going to know when odd one goes for that blue buff. A smart ward from Curse Gaming. St. Fish is sitting on those brushes. A lot of pings going down from TSM. They're afraid that Curse is still there going for the level 1 invade. And with their team composition, Curse has that threat. Darius sitting in the top jungle entrance. More pings going down. Curse staying defensive. They're going to back off, and St. Fish is going to start up on these race into the red.
No early counter jungling coming down yet from the odd one. He may as well go up top very quickly, but it would be difficult. St. Vicious, this is the exact same jungle start he's had in the previous 2 games. He will take wolves, he will then take red buff, and I'm wondering if TSM is onto that and whether they're trying to counter that at all. Becoming a little bit formulaic is dangerous in these 3-game sets because TSM is so good at adapting to their opponents.
We saw them practicing, anticipating at what time someone would be getting their blue buff. St. Vicious picking up that red buff. Odd one getting spotted out, so Curse having a little bit of extra vision, knowing where they're going to be. Chaos and X Special on that Sona Graves combination bottom lane already showing the amount of poke that they have because Elements is less than 50% HP already.
This is a good counter to the Blitzcrank support. Sona, one of the highest poke supports in the game. Obviously, Blitzcrank has no innate sustain, so X Special needs to be very careful with how he pokes because he is in hook range every time he goes up for those Hymn of Valor Q harassments. Very good so far from X Special. He's avoided hooks in the previous games.
And this is the second time that Nijaki has been given the blue buff. Chaos quick shotting in and getting a ton of damage onto Elements, popping the mana barrier. Elements is going to be able to get out of there, but mid lane, looking at this matchup, St. Vicious wants to get Nijaki ahead and ahead in a hurry. Reginald has that spell vamp from his passive, so he's going to be able to stay in lane, but Nijaki with that blue buff, more mana regen, more cooldown reduction, more poke from that orb.
St. Vicious did this last game as well, and it actually allowed Odd One to get a slight lead on him in the jungle. They're really just putting all of their dollars into Nijaki, putting all of their bets into Nijaki. That's probably a better way of saying it. trying to let him shove out Reginald. They are attacking Reggie in so many ways. They know if they keep him down, the fights won't come for TSM, and that's really been evident throughout all three of these games.
And the attacking continues top lane. Darius using his range. He's farming like an AD carry, but he can just as easily go melee, showing the poke that Jayce has. Westrice on Darius being forced to burn his mana, or his health potions, and Darius just farming away and trying to pressure Westrice early. St. Vicious is there, could gank, gonna opt for double golems instead.
Darius trying to put all the pressure on. He does not have wards, so you can see him poking in and around that brush, hoping to avoid the gank from St. Vicious. St. Vicious is actually trying to avoid Darius's vision as well. When he comes in behind him, it's very difficult to gank a Jayce. He can knock you away, he can speed himself up, and he can flash. Nonetheless, he's waiting in that brush, waiting for his moment.
There's St. Vicious. The speed boost goes out. The exhaust. Darius flashes out. He has the gate. A couple double hits going down the flash. Oh, but the apprehend just misses. Darius trying to turn around. The ignite going down, but Darius is going to be able to get out with an extremely low amount of health. But a smart play from Darius to bait out that game.
50 health remaining on Darius. So close. If that apprehend would have landed from Darius, that would have been first blood. A slight miscalculation by Westrice. With that, they're going to shove in this lane and actually force or attempt to force Darius back. Odd One comes up to support to save his bacon and get those creeps.
Darius actually baiting Westrice to hit the ignite down on him, so Westrice will be down that ignite. Darius still having his ignite, but being down that flash. So still a summoner spell up on Westrice, despite being extremely low health.
To be fair, once that lane resets, the flash is more important for Westrice than it is for Darius. Jayce has things that can help him with his escape. He gets that knockback, he gets the move speed. Darius doesn't really have anything, so if Nunu comes up, if the Odd One gets a good gank, as the pull lands in the tower, and
Special getting grabbed, he's extremely low health. One more hit will do it. Kava's gonna get first blood. Chaos trying to turn it around, but he gets a couple of towers and he's gonna back off, so Curse the early advantage, and Cop on Corki, once again, doing some serious work.
And another fight that results in both players with slivers of health. 15 hit points on Cop as he gets away. Previously, those fights had been going to TSM. This time, it goes to Curse, and that gives him first blood. That gives him the early edge.
The KX making sure that they don't get that first blood without paying for it. They're going to lose that entire minion wave to the turret. KX at 40 minion kills to Cop's 18, so Cop really needed that first blood.
They were getting pushed up to their tower so hard by the poke, but we said X Special has to be very careful how he pokes because he exposes himself to those Blitzcrank pulls, and he was punished at that moment. Even with that first blood, though, the gold is still 1650 to 1600 in the favor of Chaos. So really, absolutely necessary that they punish them there if they don't want to fall hopelessly behind in that lane.
Even though they were able to pick up that first blood, X Special could very well just adjust his positioning to prevent that poke. Darius poking out Westrice. He does have those bleed stacks on him, so those are going to be ticking down consistently. Darius getting the health roll. Wow, look at that damage from Westrice. Odd One is seen, and he's just going to back off the gate, giving him a little extra speed boost with the Blood Bowl. Man, he's motoring with that speed boost.
Odd One getting the boots already, obviously. Blood boils so fast, and Darius actually needing a lot of assistance in this lane. Westrice hit 6. If he could land an apprehend on a Darius, it'll be trouble. Or if they get the slowdown, they'd be able to finish him off. This could be good. Westrice has no escapes.
Westrice going in, he gets ignited. Could he get the dunk? The dunk does not kill Darius. Will Odd One be able to take him out? Yes, he will. A snowball to the face secures it. Odd One taking out Darius.
Darius and Odd One working together so long as aggression continues to go down mid. You can see the communication and synergy. They knew exactly how to get Westrice to commit, and they pulled it off expertly. Also the snowball finishing, so the Odd One, all that attention is pressing up top, paying off pretty well. Level 6 on jungler this early in the game means he's going to be pretty strong.
With that kill, he already has his Heart of Gold, a couple wards, and the potions, as well as those boots of speed. And with that Blood Bowl, he's going to have no problem working his way around the jungle. A couple things going down, but there's an engaged bottom lane. Exhaust going down on X Special. X Special is ignited as well. Elements is going to try and get some damage down on him, but Chaos is just shoving down. Chaos is out of mana, but the auto attacks are hitting so hard. Elements getting the knock up, and Cop's going to try and turn it around, but both members of this bottom lane almost out of health, almost out of mana. They are just pushing each other to the limit in these exchanges.
They know exactly their capabilities, and they were barely able to escape. Luckily, X-Special had not yet hit level 6. When they get that crescendo, it's going to be very strong. Element's getting a little under-leveled here. He's 4. He's not going to hit 6 at the same time. That will give TSM a power bump in that lane. And that early blue buff that St. Vicious handed off to Nijaki has not really paid off that well. Reginald has more minion kills for the first time than Nijaki in this whole series. And if Reggie gets going, if he roams around, look at him trying to come behind for the tower dive. It's going to be great for TSM.
Top lane, couple exchanges going down. Westrice trying to go in on Darius, but Darius with that Jayce knockback. There's the gate. That poke from that gate is obscene. And Reginald sitting bottom lane. We could very well see a tower dive.
They need to go soon because St. Vicious and Cop are on their way down. He needs to get that binding.
Binding just misses max range. Elements potentially smelled a gank coming, and TSM waited a little bit too long. Nijaki roaming as well to pick up that blue buff and potentially catch Reginald as he loops around, but Reginald is going to play it safe. He's going to go back through his jungle, sit in the tri-brush, and he's going to back. But here comes the dragon curse like clockwork. They're going to be able to pick up really good first dragon.
They actually knew exactly when TSM was going to be backing. After they kill the tower, there's very little reason for TSM to stick around. So they're trading that tower essentially for a dragon, but pulled off so well because of their timing.
First dragon to curse. No surprises there, really. Curse all series has been on top of the dragon. There's the chunks going out from Jayce onto Westrice. Westrice doing his best, but actually forcing a flash from Westrice. So Westrice really respecting the amount of damage that Darius can put out on Jayce.
You can see Darius really turning it up in this lane, now swapping into hammer stance to gain back more mana. That's one thing when Jayce gets a lead, you can just continually punish you, because if you can't get him off of those melee stance creeps, he will just pound you over and over. So starting to get an edge there on Darius. 67 minion kills to 51, and he has that assist from the gank. So Darius could very well be a lot of trouble for Curse strategically as this moves on.
St. Vicious pushing Darius off of that top lane, but Darius continuing to pressure. He's got so much sustain, and he's got that extra mana regen. Nijaki with the blue buff is going to try and counter push in the mid lane, but that mid turret is almost full health, and Reginald is back, and with one Tormented Soil, he's going to completely shred that minion wave. Reginald 81 minion kills to Nijaki 78, so fairly even. Nijaki has that Cage's lucky pick, so he's going to get that passive gold regen. But Reginald with the two Doran's rings, as well as the Vision Ward, he wants complete control of this mid lane.
The victor of this lane is really just going to show off of how they affect the other lanes. It's very difficult for a Morgana and an Ahri to get aggressive on each other. Morgana's ultimate just gets dashed out of by Ahri. Ahri's charm just gets absorbed by Morgana's Black Shield. So it's really on how they impact the rest of the game. And thus far, Reginald's tried once, hasn't worked. Nijaki has not tried either. It's really a matter of them farming up, powering up, and then finding the right moment to affect the game.
A quick rotate from Cursed. Elements and Cop going top against Darius. They're trying to take that top turret down as fast as they can. Darius bottom lane against Chaos and X-Special on the Graves and Sona, but he is going to get poked down if the previous exchanges were any indication.
Now, though, they have the lane and they can freeze it here. There's a large enough minion wave for Darius up or in the bottom that it's on TSM now to force and make something happen. There's still a lot of wards on the map, and the odd one's yet to pick up an Oracle's. So really, this could be a bit of a bad play as the hook just misses.
Grab just out of reach. The odd one sitting in the ward. Now he knows it's there for sure. Chaos and Reginald coming up mid, joined by X-Special. They are going to rotate and start taking turrets as fast as they can. TSM only up about 300 gold, but with this turret, they're going to extend that lead a little bit longer. Elements is there as well with Nijaki, so a lot of rotations going around to try and put pressure wherever they can for both of these teams. TSM starting to pull ahead by 1,000 gold.
TSM with the pressure, they were able to successfully impact mid once bottom lane had ended, and they're flanking around onto Westrice here. Is Chaos going to be able to do much? Westrice needs to be on the run, or is he just going to go for an assassination here?
Ignite going down, X-Special going in. Will he hit the ultimate? An odd one is there. Westrice going in, and the ultimate is going to seal it. Reginald was there as well, just to make sure. But top lane, there was a 3-person gank on Darius. Darius is ignited, he flashes out. He is exhausted as well. He has a sliver of health. Cop just misses the big one, and Darius is going to get out once again. Jayce, the escape artist. Are you kidding me?
Curse unable to convert their three-man gank, whereas TSM was able to run down Westrice, and that is just the utility that Jayce can provide. He is so mobile, whereas Darius really has to plod around the map. Westrice got baited in. Darius made a great escape using his knockbacks, managing and knowing what Curse's tower aggro is like so he could avoid the threats, and also juking those last missiles so expertly. Small, super close fights are what is deciding this early mid-game.
We've been saying it all series. One hook, one binding, one big one could decide it, and if Cop had landed that, that would have been a very different story for Curse Gaming. But as it stands, TSM starting to build their lead, and despite the three-person dive onto Darius, he is sitting at 89 minion kills. He's got the 2 Doran's Blades, he's got the Health Crystal as well. By comparison, Westrice, 10 minion kills behind. He has the double Doran's Blade as well as the Ruby Crystal as well. But TSM making sure that Curse does not get ahead early.
And the big thing about keeping Curse down now, last game, Cop was the carry. This game, he's getting somewhat shut down. 74 minions to 111 from Chaos. So we've been comparing these two all the time. Chaos was huge in the first game. Cop, even bigger in the second. Chaos with a pretty big lead here in the third.
The map rehand just misses from Westrice. The amount of poke that's coming out from TSM is intimidating. That buckshot plus the gated projectile from Jayce. TSM going to continue to pressure this top turret, and they are going to take it out. They're just going to walk away, let the minions take it for themselves.
Third turret by TSM. The pressure is theirs. This has been the case in the second game as well, even though they were down in gold a bit. This time they're holding off Curse's minion kills and farming, as well as taking the towers. So the map control and the pressure is in the hands of TSM here. Reginald waiting to find that right moment to find his ultimate off. And the big thing here is X Special's crescendo on Sona could very well turn these team fights around. Curse doesn't have the easy mode initiate from Nijaki this time. Ahri's not able to split up teams nearly as well as Morgana. It's going to be very tricky for Curse picking their fights here, and TSM really has more options when this game moves on.
Jad, it really seems like the composition from Curse depends upon catching someone.
It's all about getting picks in a lot of ways. They need to land charms from Nijak, they need to land hooks from Elements. TSM just needs to roll in. They're going to pop that acceleration gate from Jayce, have Reginald aggressively flash in, and he's at a point where he can this game because he's not behind Nijaki, and here comes potentially a fight around this dragon. Curse so much control. TSM pressuring it finally.
Pokes coming down from Cop. Reginald was able to land a binding on Nijaki. Nijaki sitting around. Will he be able to get the Ahri? And just misses, and Reginald lands a binding onto Elements, but TSM opting not to engage yet. X Special and Reginald are definitely going to initiate this fight. A grab one down onto Kanto, and Kanto's going to get obliterated by Elements. So now this is a 5-on-4. TSM having to back out. But they are going to
they
stick
might
around.
not back out. They're poking so hard with those acceleration gates from Jayce that the kill, great pull by Elements, absolute max range. He's going to need to do that, especially late game. Poke down so hard though that neither team is going to be able to take that dragon.
The odd one rotating around with Darius. Those gated projectiles clearing the wave so quickly, and a smart play by TSM to continue posturing to make sure Curse did not want to have anything to do with that dragon. Only TSM could intimidate someone in a 4v5.
It's all about the Jayce, it's all about Reginald. All of their team fighting AoE was there, and Curse was low enough that it wouldn't have mattered that Chaos wasn't there for the cleanup. The initial initiation would have cleaned them up, and here Curse taking the initiative. All of TSM knows they're there. Chaos will be there eventually. This is going to be a huge fight. There's a binding.
Going down, Reginald flashing in, and Nijaki gets obliterated. The tether is still on Westrice. Westrice is exhausted. He tries to flash out, get the dunk, but no, Darius is going to take him out. A quick 2-0 exchange, and this is a dragon for TSM.
Trying to force the dragon, pushing a little too hard. The objective control finally coming to bite them a little bit. TSM, so much initiation. The dark binding from Reginald. Morgana creating fights. Reginald being aggressive. He is going to try to dominate this game. Need the Sea Large Rod early, and here comes a push.
TSM going in Reginald with the Black Shield. He is going to go for another Binding Tormented Soil. His ultimate is not quite up yet. Elements with the speed boost just missing. Max range from Reginald, but with that ultimate and that Sona ult, Nijaki got completely nuked in about 0.3 seconds in that fight.
Nijaki getting a taste of his own medicine there, getting hit by the dark binding that he normally loves so much. so hard to initiate fights for Curse here because they don't have the large amount of AoE splitting that Morgana can create. St. Vicious can jump in by himself now, but there'll be no reason for them to peel away from him. They may as well just turn around and dump onto St. Vicious. Cobb quite far behind of Chaos. Once Chaos finishes off that Bloodthirster, it will be a big power spike for him. 21 more minions, the Dragon control, the turret control. TSM looking to be in control so far.
And you mentioned the needlessly large rod from Reginald. He is going straight for that Zhonya's. We have seen a lot of Abyssal out of these AP mids, but Reginald says, no, 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 no. I'll take the straight damage, thank you very much.
This is the difference with Reginald's playstyle a bit from Nijaki. He is even more aggressive, so he's got that Zhonya's Hourglass so far. He's more willing to go incredibly far ahead of his team and then bait out with the Zhonya's. He has so much threat when he goes in. The Curse is needing to attack him down. He's going to put himself in incredibly vulnerable positions and then pop that stasis from the Zhonya's Hourglass. It's going to be very, very hard for Curse to do something here.
He's rotating top, trying to get Cobb that red buff elements, using his ultimate. Give a little bit extra damage. St. Vicious helping out as well. They're going to cut it down. Cobb's going to not take it. That is actually the second error from St. Vicious, not giving Cobb the red buff. And in the first game, we saw the extra tick going down, and St. Vicious accidentally stealing the blue buff from Nijaki.
There's actually a good chance that St. Vicious wants that red buff. He is slightly stronger than Cobb here, and you do get a more strong slow from a melee than from a range. Cobb does actually, he's going Infinity Edge, but Darius has a phage. They really want Cobb to clean up fights. They don't care about him training down and slowing. That's more St. Vicious' job. I think that was an intentional play for them.
I stand corrected. TSM cruising around the mid lane. The pokes going down continuously. That Darius poke is showing just the power of Jayce, not only in these fights, but also in the wave clears. Chaos opting for the red buff. TSM's going to give it to him. And Darius has the blue buff. So he's going to have that increased cooldown reduction, which is going to help him a lot when he's rotating those stances.
That is very, very good team play. Normally, the acceleration gate and shock blast spam by Jayce runs you out of mana fairly quickly. Those are expensive spells. They know their team play. They know their team comp. Reginald's so threatening. He doesn't need the blue buff to flash in, ult, and use his Zhonya's Hourglass. They're going poke heavy. They're threatening Curse. Smart play. They're giving Darius blue.
St. Vicious setting up a blue buff of his own. They want to make sure that TSM does not steal this. TSM loves to take the lead by stealing these global objectives, but they're just going to back off into their own jungle. TSM playing a little more conservatively. They want to make sure that they do this game 3 the right way.
This is also a moment where they know they have the teamfight advantage, so they're able to play conservatively here. They don't need to be afraid of Curse necessarily initiating on them, because if the teamfight comes and they're ready for it, they should win it. They're making sure they get the farm up. Chaos is charging up that Bloodthirster with last hits. Darius is farming the bunch on Jayce, so those acceleration gates hit even harder. And Reggie's just waiting for that moment to flash in and pop a great Morgana ult.
Reggie landing a binding on the Westwest, getting some good poke down on him. Odd One and Chaos are moving up top. St. Vicious is there. He's going to back off in a hard. Reginald is being extremely aggressive, trying to bait something out. There's the speed boost from the Jayce gate, and they're going to try and cut off Curse Gaming. Curse is split at this point.
And now it's just more of the same here. The blue buff has fallen off on Darius, but the pressure overall is getting applied very well by TSM. They're mostly looking to corral Curse here until the next dragon comes up. All the poke they can get on the tower is well and good, but that's not their main objective here. They just need to avoid getting hit by a Charm, getting hit by a Blitzcrank Bull, and continue poking down and corralling Curse.
Dodge the pull, but X Special gets the Charm, and Jayce fires an immediate responsive fire to get some more poke going down. TSM wave clearing so effectively. Odd One grabs a quick snack to make sure he's full health. And the Blood Boil continues going down from KX. KX is going to steal the Curse rates quickly. 152 minion kills on him. He has that Bloodthirster looking to get aggressive. St. Vicious a little bit out of position. He's been sitting around on that side rush to try and get an initiate, but he hasn't been able to do anything. Charm going down onto Chaos once again, but Curse can't do anything about it. Reginald accidentally binds a minion, but TSM keeping up the pressure on this mid lane.
St. Vicious is trying to flank around behind because they don't have the combo initiation here. He has to kind of do it by himself. When you drag an ult over an enemy, it will drag them slightly, so he's trying to condense that team fight and make it so everyone on Curse has access to TSM. They're just doing a great job flanking around, and will he be able to escape here? He's going to potentially have to ult away.
Safeishes ult into the wall. Blast going down from Darius. Darius gets exhausted, but Safeishes, that is a 5-on-1, and Chaos is going to make sure he does not get out of that one alive.
Trying to hug the wall and get as far away from TSM as possible. He makes a fatal error, ulting into that wall, and the timing could not be worse. TSM picking up this dragon now completely uncontested.
That is the small advantage that TSM needed. They are about 2,000 gold ahead, and with that dragon, they are going to pull ahead almost 3,000 gold. TSM with the lead. Let's see what they're going to do with it.
So much pressure. That mid tower is getting increasingly lower. They have the Aegis of the Legion already on Nunu. That's been completed for a while. St. Fish is still yet to complete his, so on top of having Morgana for good initiations, they have more power from increased armor, increased magic resistance, more attack damage on absolutely everyone. And Curse just has not kept pace this game. I really think that Morgana play by Reginald has been so key, even if just to deny Nijaki his comfort zone.
Also, TSM has completely shut West Rice down. He is 0-3 and has not been a presence in these fights. He's grabbing a Glacial Shroud to give himself a little bit of extra cooldown reduction, a little bit of extra armor, but he hasn't been as much of a factor. We haven't seen those typically exciting dunk team fights that we saw in IPL Face-Off when West Rice was doing quite well on Darius.
A lot of times when they have Darius, it's to combo with Morgana. He's once again a cleanup, a lot like the AD carry is, but when he plays Darius, if he has to be the one in first and they don't have enough area of effect damage to create the cleanup opportunity, he falls a little bit flat. They're trying to get the Blitz pulled down, but that Black Shield lasting just long enough to eat that rock crab.
And TSM knows that they're there. The snare going out, but no dice for TSM. They wanted an engage there. We're not able to get it. Odd One being brave, but with that Black Shield, that makes it a whole heck of a lot easier. Buddy Ward going down into that Wraith Brush. Two members of TSM having the same idea and seeing if they can get Curse to stay twice as long in that brush. Odd One continuing to ward clear, and TSM wanting to bait out a Baron fight.
One of the great differences between jungle Nunu and support Nunu is the access to gold and more resiliency in the items. You can see the Odd One, nearly 2,500 health, very high resistances, so that absolute zero he can be more aggressive with. He doesn't have to worry about auxiliary damage taking him down, and he's really just going to be a training slow field, trying to hide in that brush, and here they come with an acceleration gate.
Massive damage coming out from elements. The gate goes down, and TSM is speed boosted, but they are choosing not to engage. Chaos is rotating back to the mid lane to make sure that all five of them there. West Rice is as well. Wow, so much damage coming out from Darius. Darius has his Bloodthirster as well, and that damage from that poke is unreal, and TSM continuing to rob Curse's jungle.
Such a good job completely controlling the ward game here and juking out the rocket grabs. They are one step ahead right here. So many ward clears, they might actually force down onto a Baron. This is more about the peel. If Curse gives it to him, they'll take it, but they really want to fight here. This is why Reginald's off, trying to zone the rest of them away. They might actually be taken by surprise by Reginald's aggression here, and maybe we'll see a peel here.
Still sitting, Darius getting a massive poke onto Nijak, 50% there, and the dash goes in onto West Rice. West Rice being forced to blast up. Original follows him quickly, ignites onto West Rice. West Rice tries to jump Reginald, but there's the Sonya's Hourglass, and Darius is there to try to zone Nijak, and Nijak is going to take Reginald out, but not before Darius drops him as well. Top trying to clean this up, and X-Missile whiffs with Crescendo, but that does not matter because here comes Chaos. There's a double kill from Chaos, and Odd One picks up the ace.
They're very low now. They look to be looking towards the Baron. You saw Reginald's absolute aggression and fantastic baiting with that Zonya's Hourglass. He kept Curse around, and TSM is about to take this Baron.
And TSM is what this audience is shouting. They want TSM to take this Baron, and it sounds like they want them to take this game 3. All members of TSM so low, out of mana, staggering to this Baron. They know that the members of Curse will not be up. 3 members are up. Jackie and Copper up in 3 seconds. Curse is beelining for it, but they know that it's far too late. TSM with a 6,000 gold lead, 28 minutes into this game, 10 kills to 3 in this decisive game 3.
TSM is not going to look to let up here. They are so aggressive when closing out games. Now that they have the Baron buff, Now that they have that ace, let's take a quick look at that last fight to see just how it happened. They get the acceleration gate after the Dark Binding. Westrice being getting caught out of position fairly often. Reginald, all about that ult, and look how long he waits to use that Zhonya's Hourglass. Nijaki now feeling like he needs to go back in, but Darius is completely there for the cleanup. Kopf also getting baited into killing Darius, and they all flash over the wall. Unfortunately, the crescendo doesn't land, but it's enough to finish off the ace.
Story of the AD carries continue. Chaos putting so much pain down. He got a double kill. An odd one, finishing up the third one, arm landing on Darius, and there's the hook onto Chaos to knock up a lot of damage, but Chaos with the gate is just going to be able to walk out of there. A couple heals from Mix Special, and Chaos is back up to 6% health, and with that Baron buff, TSM is going to be able to take those pokes and give back that much more.
That's the second great hook Elements has landed on down to Chaos. Unfortunately, they have not been able to convert that into any large advantages. The follow-up doesn't quite appear to be there from Curse. Now it's the Baron buff team, nearly all at full health. So much poke potentially coming out. They're going to go as soon as they see a window.
Element speed boosting in. He wants to get one last hook with all of the members of Team Curse there to follow up. Nijaki trying to land the charm. He's landed a couple of good charms in this exchange, but they haven't been enough. There really hasn't been a lot of follow-up from Curse, but wow, look at that poke from Darius onto Nijaki, and with that Baron buff with every single
The fact
ability.
that they're sitting around and not clearing the two outer towers means they probably want to go here. Reginald getting very aggressive. They know they can take the tower or get it taken by very short range.
Hook going out, so Element will not have that, but there's the Ahri on 3 members of TSM. St. Vicious is there. Will we see the dive in? St. Vicious having to use his ultimate to dive out of the fight. Odd One drops his ultimate to try and control Curse, but Curse is going to disengage once again, but not without a price. St. Vicious and Westrice are extremely low, and TSM is going to steamroll in to take this middle inhibitor.
Very controlled engagement there by TSM. They did just enough to push Curse off of it, and they know they have such high health regeneration because of Baron, because of the Sona spamming heals, and all of the lifesteal they get from the Zeke's Herald. So great inhibitor push. They didn't need to win a full engagement, but they did just enough to not lose anyone and get that big objective down.
TSM rotating into the Dragon. This is their third Dragon of this game. Curse getting the first Dragon with that impeccable timing that we had seen from them, but TSM making sure that they control these objectives. Curse grouping as 5, trying to protect their own jungle. Darius in the top lane, clearing out this lane, and TSM can really use whatever lane they want to finish off this game 3.
TSM only has about 45 seconds left on this Baron buff, so they might look to just wait around for another big engagement. Even without Baron, they're very, very strong. If they can catch Curse any kind of out of position, they will look to end the game. But with that middle inhibitor down and still having the mid, top and bottom towers there, those are easy pickings for TSM. They're going to clean those up. They're going to look to get their second inhibitor pressure, and just like they've been doing for the past 15 minutes, they're going to contain Curse into their base. They're not going to let Kopf get farmed. He only has that Infinity Edge. They're going to keep the pressure up, allow Chaos to carry, and allow Reginald to initiate and create for them.
With an 8,000 gold lead, TSM has all of the power in the world. Reginald, X Special, and Chaos looping up top lane, just pushing these lanes out, content to farm. Chaos has that pickaxe, so he could build that into the Last Whisper or go for an Infinity Edge, depending upon how he wanted to play it. He's 4-1-2, 197 minion kills. He has been spot on in all of these fights, and Kopf has fallen off a little bit in this game 3.
You can see, especially once that Last Whisper comes down, no one will be able to deal with Chaos's blood boil damage, and that turret is indefensible for Curse, going to fall without any opposition.
Darius was mid lane helping those super minions out, and he is rotating back top, and TSM actually is just going to go back mid, and they can really go wherever they want.
They're just taking the easy pickings. There's no way Curse can expose themselves that far out from the base without getting initiated on for free by TSM. So all these other towers are just free gold for TSM. The Baron will be up shortly. I don't know if TSM is going to wait. They very well could, but they will spend time poking around this tower, because if they get the right binding, if they get the right opportunity, they could just convert for another inhibitor. Mainly, I think, though, they're just killing time here. They have to be careful of blitz hooks.
All 5 members of both teams are there. The charm just missing Darius. TSM clearing all day long. Here comes the next wave. Darius opting for a couple of emotes to let people know that, yes, he is feeling like he is in control of this match. Cop using those missiles to clear those wards out. So yeah, it seems like Curse is doing their best to try and stall this one out, but with TSM now having a 10,000 gold lead with the extra farm, with the clearing, Curse is going to have trouble if they try to engage this one.
They may just be waiting for the Baron. With their presence here, they're making sure Curse cannot get access to much farm. They know they have the teamfight advantage. They know they're one game away from advancing. They're just making sure to take it slow.
The apprehend just missing from Westrise, so that is going to be on cooldown. TSM going in, poking, backing off, waiting for the next exchange. If Reginald lands one of these bindings, we could see an aggressive play. But I agree with you. I think TSM just wants to wait for this Baron, because if they fight, they have all the power in the world.
There is a bit of a window here. Cop having to clear out that top lane. Luckily, he's going to make it back for the time the minions hit the tower. You can see everyone on TSM now recalling back to base. They're going to buy up their items. They're going to make sure they're as strong as possible, because this next fight will most likely close out the game if they play it successfully.
Baron is going to be up fairly soon. Saint Vicious trying to clean up his base, but that inhibitor being down is costing Curse heavily. They're going to be able to farm out those extra minions, but the pressure that it's going to put on that Baron, it's going to favor TSM greatly.
Pings going down. They're trying to guess where TSM is, because they've been in their base for so long. They've been unable to set up any type of ward control. Westrise has to be very careful. He gets caught out by Nunu.
See if I flash going up from Westrise. Westrise is trying to get out of their charm. Just missing. Westrise is ignited. Will he go down? Yes, he will. Chaos is on a rampage. Saint Vicious in the middle of everyone. Darius getting exhausted. Nijak to be forced to go out. X-Missile missing the crescendo once again, but Reginald is there. And Chaos gets a triple kill. Cop being forced out of the fight, and Elements as well. So a 3-for-0 exchange, and TSM is going to steamroll into Curse's base almost unopposed.
Actually cut off Elements and Cop. They're isolating them between the base. They're trying to push up the inhibitor response. They have a super minion. This is going to be an incredibly difficult to defend 2v5 at their base. TSM looking to end this game and advance to the finals.
TSM with the gate accelerates in. They're taking down the first Nexus turret. Here goes the second. Could this be game 3? Could TSM go to the final? Yes, they will. TSM wins 2 games to 1. And the atmosphere is electric here as TSM just closed out Curse Gaming in the semi-final to make their way to the grand final. They have just secured their place into the World Championship, as well as a place in the Season 3 Champion Series.
The difference in that game was Reginald starting to dominate, initiating with Morgana. He took the power into his own hands, and really TSM's theory crafting, TSM's strategy really won that third game for them. I have to really hand it to Curse here. They made so many strides in the past 2 or 3 weeks to get to this point where they push TSM to the absolute limit. TSM still comes out on top.
TSM winning 2 games to 1, but that second game, Curse showed how powerful they could be. But at the end of the day, it was TSM, the favorite going into this match, that turned it around and took it. And so, Jat, in terms of the most telling stat from this match, what do you think it was? I got to say, those AD carries were pretty impressive.
I have to say the most telling stat, just from how the game went off, has always been the AD carries. Chaos going 7-1 in this last game, despite everything being created for him, is just how TSM plays. When Chaos gets the kills, that's TSM playing their game. And really, it's just all about the movement from TSM, the initiations from Reginald, and if Chaos does well, Reggie's got a whole handful of assists.
Well, we have a replay of that last fight that secured TSM this semifinal series. Let's take a look.
So this was just Darius getting caught out of position, and Cop, look at the cleanup. Everyone's getting low from Reginald, but Chaos gets the last hits all the time. The triple kill, great positioning, he waits for the right moment. He didn't even get touched. The front line from TSM, everyone else doing their work, and Chaos doing the job of an AD carry perfectly, being that cleanup.
He certainly did clean up in that game 1 as well as game 3 to secure the victory. We will be right back with an interview with Reginald from TSM, and we're going to take a quick look at the brackets. All of this